Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Greater Noble Height family. Ladies and gentlemen, I must say a very big thank you for subscribing to this YouTube channel and for all your support towards the growth of this channel. May God continue to bless you all in Jesus' name. Ladies and gentlemen, Proverbs 29 verse 2 says that when the righteous rule, the people rejoice. And when the opposite happen, the masses, the people, the citizens, then we also devise strategies to correct some errors. Specifically, I must say a very big thank you once again to the American authority for speaking out, for standing bold against injustice on the people's fundamental human rights, against some leadership strategies that are affecting the masses. If you think that I'm making it up, watch video.
Today on the show, U.S. accuses federal government of violating Nnamdi Kanu's rights as World Igbo Congress demands his immediate release. In the course of the program, we take your questions, but first subscribe to our YouTube channel and drop your questions in the comment section. Babajide Kolade Tutoji. Good to see you again. Big Hill.
Good evening, Ibrahim. Good evening to our esteemed viewers.
Right, let's get right into the heart of the matter. Aloy Ejimako, who is the lawyer to the detained leader Nnamdi Kanu, that's the leader of the proscribed indigenous peoples of Biafra, has called on the Nigerian government to end his trial after the United States acknowledged that he was a victim of arbitrary arrest. Mr. Kanu has been in detention since rendition in 2021. How do you react to this latest development?
Yes, it's significant coming from a very influential world power. We never always agree with the Americans, but no matter how much you hate Nnamdi Kanu, his guts, his outspokenness, you've got to admit that his rendition from Kenya to Nigeria was in total disobedience of international law, disobedience to international law. It is clear that the global convention guiding extradition of people was not followed. You cannot possibly bring a person from another country without that person undergoing an extradition trial. That didn't happen in the case of Nnamdi Kanu. He was manhandled and forcibly brought to Nigeria. And that is the point that the Americans are making. Remember, this position by the Americans was expressed in the 2023 U.S. Country Report on Human Rights. So it's not just Nigeria that they are talking about. They are looking at human rights violations across the world and how countries generally deal with the matter of human rights. So the Americans were convinced that the manner in which Nnamdi Kanu was brought to Nigeria was illegal and clearly against Geneva Convention, clearly against international law. So they affirmed in that report that Nnamdi Kanu was a victim of illegal arrest. That is the way the law looks at it. No matter how we felt, how desperate we wanted to put him on trial for all that he did against his own nation, the law is the law. As I've always said, and as I said to our friends in the EFCC, you may hate the way an order was given against you, but you know what to do. You got to get a superior court to set aside that order, or get the same court that gave that order to listen to you, listen to your arguments, and then reverse an order that it's earlier made. The law is clear on how you can bring a fugitive from another country to his home country where you want to put him on trial. He has to undergo an extradition trial there before he can be sent to your country. The Americans wanted to put Buruji Kashamu on trial. Buruji Kashamu was undergoing an extradition trial here in Nigeria before he met his death. So looking at the law, purely looking at the law, the Americans were right You are convinced that Nigeria didn't do the right thing in that circumstance. And so they made it clear in the US 2023 country reports on human rights. So, and that is what Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer has latched upon to say, look, this whole thing, this matter deserves to be looked at a second time. And the lawyer is saying that, look, subjecting Nnamdi Kanu to a horrendous extradition was wrong, and that it makes sense for Nigeria to, at this time, put an end to his trial and release him from detention. Barrister Loy Ejimako also praised the U.S. government for what he described as diplomatic courage in making its position clear on the manner in which the Nigerian government connived with their Kenyan counterparts to illegally bring Nnamdi Kanu to Nigeria so that he can face trial. So, and again, the World Igbo Congress has also demanded that in the light, I want to quote them now, because they are not convinced that Nnamdi Kanu can get justice with the way things are going. And I want to just quote the World Igbo Congress. It says, in the heart of this discourse is a man who dared to voice the aspirations of his people, aspiration for self-determination, a principle enshrined in the Geneva Convention and recognized as a fundamental human right. In the light of these transgressions against justice and fairness, we are compelled to advocate for a political solution, a solution that transcends the narrow confines of legal battles and ventures into the broader reality of human compassion and national unity. I've always argued that, look, it makes sense to find a political solution to this matter. And I've said repeatedly that Mr. President Bola Tinubu, during his campaigns, also said that he will be prepared to engage the dissidents in the southeast with a view to finding a solution to the problem that they constitute. I still believe that dialogue should not be foreclosed. But as I've always said, it is not a one-way thing. I believe that true peace stems from dialogue, and the path to justice and reconciliation is a path that Nigeria can take at this time. I also want to believe that Nnamdi Kanu is largely a different person now, because I saw his countenance in court on the day that he said if he was released, he will put an end to the needless in the southeast. I believe that based on his popularity, he can actually go a long way in helping to put an end to those things, because we've actually been dropping his name. So if he's released as a part of a political solution to the crisis, then we may see peace return to the southeast. But as I've always said, it's not a one-way thing. Nnamdi Kanu can only be released, not unconditionally, but on the condition, on the firm condition and conviction that he will no longer be against his country, and that he will respect and affirm the indivisibility of Nigeria as a country, the territorial integrity of Nigeria. He has to respect, and the primacy of Nigerian unity. He has to accept that at this time he will give up all his efforts to dismember our country. As I've said before, America is a country of 50 states. America is the size of West Africa. Yet, none of the confederal states, none of the states that make up America would dare say it is pulling out. If any of those states, not even Alaska, that was not originally part of the US, not even Alaska can get up and say it wants to pull out of the Union without being resisted. Of course, it will be resisted. So Nigeria is one country put together by providence, and Kanu has to respect that reality, that as a country we are one, and that no effort will be made at its end to try and dismember Nigeria.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jide, for your lucid explanation of the situation. Thank you very much, sir. In this channel, Greater Noble High Family, our main objective is to foster peaceful coexistence among the people, so that everyone who live in harmony, in peace, coexist and do business together. That is our focus here. Like as we have read before in Proverbs 29 verse 2, we say that when the righteous rule, the people rejoice. And when the opposite happen, the people will also form pressure group, because when your strategy as a manager is affecting the people negatively, the people will also respond to address that frustration. According to these two authors, Buckingham and Kaufman, in 1999, they wrote a book titled Break All the Rules. In this book, they try to find out, to investigate why the reason people leave an organization. And they found out and said that people leave organization because of leaders, not because of the organization itself. So when you see a pressure group coming up in any organization, in any business, it shows that the leadership strategy is not all going well for the advancement of that organization. People have different aspiration, vision, dream, aims and objectives to achieve in life. And when you as a leader, your strategy is affecting the people, they will form pressure group, and that pressure group will be made up of people that have the same interest, and they will start pressurizing you, influencing you as an authority to change your decision, to change your way of doing things, to change that your strategy. So if you are not working well as a leader, come back, call your children, call your followers, call your followers, your supporters, call the masses. Oh, what is your program? Tell us what areas are we not doing well. It's called performance review. Let the people evaluate, let them criticize you and tell you the areas you are doing well and the areas you are not doing well. Promise them. For instance, now in the case of the agitator, listen to them, call them. Oh, you need, for instance, you need free education for Nigerians. Oh, okay, free education. Do you need good roads? Okay, good road. Do you need steady power, light? Do you need steady energy, steady power? Oh, okay, the power holding people, do your work, you give the people power. Do you need so just you ask them to know what is their problem. Listen to them. It's not by putting them in a cage, it's not by or using national culture to oppress the people. No, national culture is active when those in authority also implement strategies that favor the people. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like what we are doing in this channel, please subscribe and share our video. Thank you very much.